Vemola, who is looking to leave his mark on newcomer Ronny Marks. A career-long heavyweight, Karlos Vemola made a decision to test himself in the 205-pound weight class at UFC 122, and the experiment was a huge success as he earned knockout of the night honors against Seth Petrozelli. Tonight, the ground and pound crusher from the Czech Republic returns against Brazilian newcomer Ronny Marks, a Novo União team member who is fresh from a win over former WEC champion Polo Filo. Coming up next, Ronny Marks squares off against Karlos Vemola.
Those folks at home playing the UFC drinking game, take a shot. Ronny Marks comes to us from that Novo União team out of Brazil, which is making such waves in the mixed martial arts community. They just have an incredible stable of fighters down there, including champion and pound-for-pound candidate Jose Aldo. Just an amazing camp run by Andre Pederneiras. He's a veteran of fights all over the world, famous for the old days of mixed martial arts. Pederneiras has helped raise some of the best high-level, up-and-coming prospects out of Brazil, and this young man, Ronny Marks, is one of the newest entrants from Novo União. One of the bigger members of the team, a light heavyweight, whereas a lot of the guys coming out of that camp are 55, 45, in that range. This is a big man at 6'1", and a thick 205. Jiu-Jitsu state champion, and at only 23 years of age, a lot of potential in young Ronny Marks. Again, Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, and Jiu-Jitsu brown belt under Andre Pederneiras that's some high-level stuff.
That is a great gym and a great atmosphere to train in. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, the Octagon set to return to Brazil for the first time in 13 years. In just a little under 2 weeks, Ronny Marks making his UFC debut. Born in Prague in the Czech Republic, now fighting out of London, England, Karlos Vemola is 9-1 in his mixed martial arts career. He is 1-0 as a light heavyweight, and he did it in spectacular fashion, earning knockout of the night honors in his win over Seth Petrozelli in Oberhausen, Germany.
A very highly skilled wrestler and a very physically strong man, and that's what we really saw in that Petrozelli fight. I mean, Petrozelli is no slouch, and Karlos Vemola ragdolled him. Very strong with some high-level wrestling credentials. As you said, Czech national wrestling champion.
6 times the national wrestling champion. 4 wins by submission, 5 by TKO or knockout. He's only gone the distance 1 time. That was in his UFC debut as a heavyweight against John Matson. 11-1 Ronny Marks against 9-1 Karlos Vemola.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive. 6-time national Czech wrestling champion. And when you see how this guy throws people around, you can imagine it.
His UFC debut, Joe, was his first fight outside of Europe. Fought at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, then in Germany, and now tonight at Bradley Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Our tale of the tape for this light heavyweight fight. Ronny Marks, 23 years old. Karlos Vemola, 3 years his elder. Everything else is virtually identical. With the official introductions, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC light heavyweight division. Introducing first, Fighting out of the blue corner, a jiu-jitsu fighter holding a professional record, 11 wins, 1 loss, standing 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 205 pounds. Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Ronny Marks. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a wrestler, holding a professional record, 9 wins, 1 loss, standing 6 feet tall, weighing in at 205 and 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of London, England, Karlos Vemola. And with the action begins, our referee in charge, Rob Hines.
Rob Hines, our referee. The beautiful Shandela. The 6-time Czech Republic National Wrestling Champion against the Jiu-Jitsu champion. Inside the octagon. Black trunks for Vemola. Comes forward with the right hand.
You know, and what's interesting is that Vemola's style is obviously wrestling, but Marks wants his fight on the ground as well. And if you know anything about the Nova União guys, they're known for being incredibly well-rounded. All of them have excellent guards. You do not get a brown belt under Andre Pedneris unless you got a sick guard. So if this fight does go to the ground and Vemola is on top, very curious to see what kind of an attack Ronny Marks has. Right now, Marks pressing Vemola up against the cage.
Marks making his UFC debut on a 4-fight win streak. Coming off a win over former WEC middleweight champion Paulo Filho.
So far, right now, Ronny Marks is able to hold Vemola up against the cage, which is an accomplishment in and of itself. Nice elbow on the break, and now Vemola looking for the takedown.
Vemola is a big, strong light heavyweight. Both men showing how powerful they are.
And in these wild exchanges, it's very important to keep your chin tucked. And Ronny Marks does not have his chin tucked. In these exchanges, his chin is wide up in the air, Mike. That leads me to think that he's much more of a jiu-jitsu guy than a striker.
And coming over with that big right hand again is Vemola, but he got caught on the counter.
Wow, Vemola is just swinging. Yeah, those. Oh, look at this. Ronny Marks with the takedown.
That right there was the definition of swinging for the fence.
Yeah, those were wild arm punches, folks. Don't do that at home. That's what happens in the heat of combat. You lose all technique. At least some do.
So trying to work from the top position now is the jiu-jitsu specialist.
Vemola up and down again. Very impressed with Ronny Marks so far. He's moving into mount position here. There's one thing you know about wrestlers. A lot of them do not like to fight off their back. They're not comfortable with it, and because they're so dominant in training, they're very rarely there.
Vemola has not gone out of the first round in any of his victories. Longest fight was 3 minutes and 46 seconds. 5 wins in less than a minute.
In Vemola's lone loss in the UFC was held down and beat up by John Madsen.
Yep.
You know, no shame in that. Madsen's a very talented and physically strong guy, but he let him know that he had to get out of that heavyweight division. Madsen's just too big for him, really controlled him, and it was a lot like this fight.
This is second as a light heavyweight. Under 2. On the clock here in round 1. UFC Hardy versus Lytle. 9 in the East, 6 in the West. Live on Versus and Rogers Sportsnet.
Beautiful takedown by Marks.
Vemola going to try to wall walk.
And as he's doing it, Ronny Marks is constantly looking for a dominant position. He's trying to turn the corner. Lifts up the leg. Beautiful technique by Marks. Keeps Vemola down.
Mark says that Paulo Filho and Minotauro Nogueira are his heroes, and he just defeated one of them. And Paulo Filho. 1 minute remains in round 1.
Interesting that Paulo Filo's fighting light heavyweight. What is he doing? It's like 5'8", you know?
We've seen what happens when he tried to fight lighter. He's back up for now, but still being controlled by the Brazilian.
Let's improve,
Cut on the forehead of Karlos Vemola.
Let's improve, guys. There we go.
Vemola pummels under. He's looking for double underhooks. Nice knee to the body by Marks. Oh, full mount.
Final seconds of the round, though.
Vemola looking for a guillotine.
Trying to lock it in.
Hanging on.
Final seconds of the round.
He's going to shake off.
And the round comes to conclusion.
Carlos, step in, have a sip of water, step in that jab, get that overhand, and get to his single leg. Okay? To get down to his legs. Okay? To make it to his legs, not his body. Okay? Get him to the cage. Don't swing with your head down. Look at him. Okay, come in, step in, double jab, step your foot forward with the punches.
The story of that round was the newcomer, Ronny Marks.
Overhand, get the single.
And his ability to take down Karlos Vemola, the 6-time national Czech wrestling champion, and this young kid out of Brazil, able to take him down over and over again. And at the end of the round, Vemola jumped on a guillotine attempt, was really hanging on to this, but it would look to me like it was a little too high on the head, and Marks was saved by the bell there.
Set for the start of round number 2.
Ref, too much water on him. Too much water on him.
Vemola with those wild winging punches again.
Guillotine attempt here, standing by Marks.
Drop down. Single, take it up, take it up. Pull it in, pull it in, pull it in. Pull it in.
Vemola gets a takedown briefly. Marks right back up to his feet.
Single again. Drop down for a couple.
You know, knowing the grappling credentials of Vemola, you got to be impressed with this young kid Marks already.
He's 23 years old, 11-1, making his UFC debut. Vemola still swinging for the knockout. Taken down again.
Marks gets him down again. Looking for an arm triangle. Can't quite secure it. Vemola's got to be careful about where he puts that right arm.
Good shot. Couple hammer fists from Ronny Marks.
One thing we also saw in the Madsen fight was stamina issues by Karlos Vemola. You know, a lot of that is carrying around the 260-pound Madsen, a very powerful wrestler.
Right hand connected from Marks there, Joe.
Marks gets him down again. Karlos Vemola is getting dominated by a newcomer.
Trying to give himself some space to do some damage with his ground and pound.
And Vemola is shifting his hips. Looks like he's looking for a possible armbar opportunity from his back, but at this stage of the game, it's going to be hard to pull off. So he throws him up, but very sloppy.
Trying to get his own takedown.
And he's up, looking for a single, but he's got to protect his neck in the meanwhile. Marks got that neck twisted up a bit here.
Lets it go for now.
Nice position. Nice position. No, he's using the overhook on one side and then controlling the bicep at the other. That opens him up for the knees, Mike. That's very nice technique there.
Gonna look for another one here.
Vemola is in front of us taking some big, deep breaths. He's feeling the pace of this fight. Ronny Marks should open up with knees here, Mike. Once he's there's a nice one. Once he's controlling that overhook on one side and he gets the body of Vemola turned in this position right here, he's wide open. He's wide open. Vemola is exhausted and he's not defending. Ronny Marks can push down on that right arm to keep that opening and just blast knees through there. There's another. And that one hurt him. Keep that wrist. There's another one. Keep that wrist and throw those knees.
Well, he knew from that position the knee was there.
Yeah, and Vemola realized that it was a problem and let it go. Look at that. Beautiful. Went for a single and then tripped him. As Vemola defended, hooked his supporting leg and tripped him. High-level stuff from this new kid.
Yeah, Ronny Marks relentless with his takedowns against the 6-time Czech Republic National Wrestling Champion.
Yeah, I mean, how impressive was that? Inside control here. Let's see if he wants to keep this pressure on him and isolate one of these arms. Now it looks like he may try to move into a mounted crucifix position. No, he's looking for that arm triangle. He's looking to weasel his head into the armpit on that side. See how he's doing that? He keeps doing that with his head. He wants to get his head underneath the left armpit of Karlos Vemola and isolate that arm. He's gonna have to be a little bit more clever about it, and he's gonna have to do it in a position where Vemola does not have his legs up against the cage. If Vemola can explode and create a little space there.
And in the meantime, he'll throw down some ground and pound.
Yeah, now he just stretched him out, moved him away from the cage a bit. Vemola only has one leg on now and much less leverage.
He's got some time to work, Joe. Just under 30 seconds now on the clock here in round 2. Elbows to the body.
Like a true Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist, he's slowly just holding them and controlling the position, waiting for his openings. But, you know, when you use Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, sometimes you gotta take more chances because you don't really have all the time in the world.
Round 2.
Now, if you had seen Karlos Vemola fight before, you would really be impressed with what Ronny Marks is doing in this fight. And let's take some looks at it here. Over and over again, the big Brazilian kid has been able to take down the 6-time Czech Republican wrestling champion. Boom! And look at these knees to the body. And look at this beautiful takedown. Goes for the single and then hooks and sweeps that leg and drops down into side control. Just a beautiful performance so far from this young Ronny Marks. One more excellent representative of this Nova União team.
And you see a very exhausted Karlos Vemola, who is very accustomed to finishing fights and doing so quickly, and has really been in the bottom position for the better part of this matchup with Ronny Marks.
Vemola really, knowing his back is up against the wall, must know that he is behind 2 rounds to 1, and there Marks gets that same technique, and again, controlling the left arm with his wrist, and then dropping in that knee and holding him in that place over and over again. Look how he's got the body turned sideways, wrist control, and Vemola's got to get that arm free, and he can't. He knows that knee's coming.
He's trying to block it with his leg.
Yeah, he knows it's coming, but he's tired too. He's taking some big, deep breaths.
Well, Marks has been leaning on him the entire match.
Leaning on him, taking him down, and beating him up.
And more of the same here. First minute of round number 3. UFC newcomer Ronny Marks.
I'll tell you what, the light heavyweight division has an exciting new entrant. And Marks drops Vemola down again.
He's winning the battle with his pure power, with his strength, and with outstanding technique.
I'm just amazed that he's able to take this guy down over and over again like this.
Take him down, hold him down, and beat him up.
And Vemola must be amazed as well. With his wrestling credentials, this has got to be pretty upsetting. And Vemola turning his hips again, looking for some sort of an opportunity for a submission off of his back, but nothing even close.
Nose is bloodied up a little bit.
Well, Vemola is so tired and beaten down. I would like to see Ronny Marks move to a dominant position and try to finish this, Mike. Get out from in between the guard, move to side control or mount him. And I think he can do it. And here's his opportunity. Push that leg down, step over.
There's one.
He's basically free. What he really needs to do, though, is not quite over that left knee, or the right knee, rather. He needs to step that leg up. He's pushing it down.
There it is.
Now he's over it. Vemola goes to a lockdown to try to protect himself from being mounted. And what he's doing is extending the right leg of Ronny Marks. But Ronny Marks can get that out of there if he just gets a head and arm control and presses down with his shin and instep. He needs to get his body up higher and his hips up higher on Karlos Vemola.
He's beating him up in the process.
But you know what? He's looking for that arm triangle also on the right-hand side. Now he's in side control. There he goes. Nicely done.
Just the process, and you see the experience with his jiu-jitsu. He took the process. He knows where he wants to be, waits for his opportunity, and takes it. Now let's see if he can finish it from side control.
Now he's looking for the Kimura on the left arm.
90 seconds on the clock.
Shots to the body, moves to the north-south position. I would like to see Ronny Marks dive on a submission here, Mike. You know, he's buttering this guy up, he's getting him ready, but he's got to move on it. It's hard, though, when you're tired and you've got a good position, you just want to kind of hold it. And that's what he's doing right now. He's throwing punches and holding the position. I would like to see him take a couple deep breaths and try to finish this fight. Even with strikes, try to finish this fight. So far, the UFC debut of Ronny Marks is good. I would like to see it end spectacularly.
He's got 50 seconds to do it.
Yeah, now he's moving. He's moving, he's gonna mount him. He's gonna use that right now. Decided not to.
Just a dominant performance by the newcomer.
Well, what's the most amazing about it is that he's dominating with wrestling. He's out grappling the 6-time Czech national wrestling champion. I mean, pretty impressive.
Beating him down. To secure a victory in his UFC debut. 10 seconds. All Ronny Marks.
He played it safe in the end, but it was all Ronny Marks.
He out-wrestled the wrestler.
He out-everything, though.
Yeah.
He outstruck him, out-controlled him on the fence. You know, the striking against the cage was all Marks. This over and over again, this unheralded young Brazilian kid was able to take down this highly decorated wrestler. And there's those nice knees to the body that he landed over and over again from that clinch position. And here's the end of the fight. It's all Ronny Marks. Just own this fight.
Meus irmãos, todos meus amigos, minha equipe, obrigado, galera.
Less than 2 weeks away from the return of the octagon to Brazil, the Brazilian performed very well tonight here in Milwaukee. With the official decision, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges score this contest 30-27, declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Ronny Marks.
Ronny Marks, the winner by unanimous decision.